What's up, everyone? In today's video, we're going to take a look together at the biggest and most highly anticipated shows waiting for us on Netflix in 2026 and 2027. Some of them already have officially announced release dates, while others are still in production and will most likely arrive in the coming period. Before we get into the video, I have one small favor to ask. The YouTube algorithm has really changed a lot lately, and videos are not being recommended as easily as they used to be. So right now, subscribing to the channel and liking the video is genuinely more important than ever. If you want to support the channel, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Now let's get started. Avatar: The Last Airbender Season 2. One of the biggest Netflix talking points in June will most likely be Avatar once again, because the second season returns on the 25th of June, 2026, and this time the story feels like it's heading into a much bigger, much more emotional, and much darker place. The first season laid the foundation for the world, but now we can really say that the true growth, the real testing of the characters, and the deepening of the universe are about to begin. The addition of beloved characters like Toph especially raises the hype even more. If Netflix can get a little closer to the spirit of the original anime this season, Avatar Season 2 could easily become one of the most talked about shows of the year. One Piece Season 3. Things are getting even bigger on the One Piece side now, because it was officially confirmed that production for Season 3 began in November 2025. And that naturally has people looking toward a possible 2027 release. There's still no exact release date, but when you think about the scale of the show, the heavy visual effects workload, and where the story is headed, a 2027 window does not feel far away at all, especially if the world expands even more after Season 2. It would not be surprising if Season 3 becomes a much bigger event for Netflix. In short, even if this season is not officially on the schedule yet, it absolutely deserves to be near the top of anticipation lists. Wednesday, Season 3. The really striking thing about Wednesday is not just that a third season is being talked about, but that it has already been officially announced and moved into production. That means Netflix is showing very clearly just how much faith it has in this brand. The fact that Season 3 is already in the conversation before Season 2 has even arrived shows just how much of a weapon this series has become for the platform. The release date is still not locked in, but looking at the current picture, 2027 feels very likely. If Wednesday can hold on to its dark humor and that strong atmosphere, it could once again become one of Netflix's biggest hits in its new season. Beef Season 2. If you're looking for a show in April that's a little more prestige-driven, a little more performance-heavy, and a little sharper, then Beef Season 2 will probably be one of the strongest options, because the new season arrives on April 16, 2026. The first season stood out with a very different kind of energy, and now it's coming back with a new story, new characters, and a very strong cast. This kind of show may not appeal to everyone, but it is definitely one of the titles representing Netflix's prestige side. Especially for people who want a short but intense season, Beef Season 2 is absolutely one to keep an eye on. Stranger Things. Tales from 8-5. Even if the main Stranger Things story is getting closer to its end, Netflix clearly doesn't look ready to let go of this universe anytime soon. And one of the first big examples of that is Tales from 85. Arriving on the 23rd of April, 2026, this animated series looks especially important in terms of expanding the universe through a different format. For viewers who love the Stranger Things brand but do not want the story to end completely, this project could be a very strong stop along the way. If the animation side can preserve that nostalgic vibe and creepy atmosphere, this may grow beyond being just a side project and become a standout show in its own right. The Gentleman Season 2. If you enjoy Guy Ritchie-style crime stories, then you really need to have The Gentleman Season 2 on your radar already, because it was officially confirmed that filming for the new season has begun. The first season especially succeeded in pulling viewers in with its atmosphere, characters, and fast-moving structure, so naturally the follow-up season is being awaited with a lot of curiosity. There's no exact release date for now, but the current picture suggests it's a strong candidate for late 2026 or sometime in 2027. So among Netflix's hard-edged, stylish, cool crime dramas, The Gentleman could easily stand out again. Ginny and Georgia. Season 4. Ginny and Georgia may not be one of those shows everyone constantly talks about, but it quietly continues to be one of Netflix's most reliable returning hits. And the fact that Season 4 has started filming proves that once again, the series manages to hold onto a wide audience because it successfully balances drama, family relationships, and the younger side of the story all at once. We still don't know exactly when the new season will be released, but at least we know officially that it is on the way. So if you're making a list for 2026 and 2027, I really don't think it would be right to leave Jinny and Georgia out. Black Dove Season 2. For those who want something with a little more espionage, a little more mystery, And a little darker tone. Black Dove Season 2 looks very interesting, because it was announced that the new season has moved into production in London. The return of a series led by a strong name like Keira Knightley is already attention-grabbing by itself, but the real question is how Netflix plans to grow this project. The release date still hasn't been announced, so whether it lands in 2026 or 2027 is something we'll have to wait and see. But one thing is clear, when Black Doves comes back, it will be a strong option, especially for viewers who enjoy thrillers and spy stories. Outer Banks Season 5. When it comes to young adult adventure, treasure hunting, and constantly rising momentum, Outer Banks is still one of Netflix's most recognizable brands, and it was officially confirmed that the final season will arrive in 2026. It was also announced that filming has been completed, which means the show has now reached the point where it is simply waiting for its release date. And that means the countdown to the end has officially started for viewers who have been following this story for a long time. Final seasons always create a different kind of excitement, and Outer Banks Season 5 definitely feels like one of those shows. Peaky Blinders sequel series. And of course, one of the most intriguing parts of all this is that the Peaky Blinders universe is going to grow again on the TV side, because it was announced that Netflix is planning 2 separate 6-episode sequel seasons. Right now, this project feels more like one big question mark, but sometimes that is exactly what makes it even more interesting. Because the name Peaky Blinders alone is enough to grab viewers' attention, and the question of what time period these continuation stories will be set in and which characters they will follow is already a big topic of curiosity. If Netflix returns to this universe the right way, it could easily become one of the most talked about projects on the 2027 side. Lupin Part 4. On the international side, one of Netflix's strongest brands, Lupin, is finally making its return, and the best part is that this time, the wait is not completely uncertain. Netflix has officially confirmed that Part 4 will arrive in fall 2026. Omar Sy's performance as Hassan Diop has always been one of the biggest strengths of the series. But what really makes Lupin special is that it's not just a popular crime show, it's a global Netflix phenomenon. In fact, Netflix has repeatedly highlighted that the first 3 parts rank among the most popular non-English titles in the platform's history. So if we're talking about the biggest Netflix shows coming in 2026 and 2027, it's honestly very hard to leave Lupin off that list. All of Us Are Dead Season 2. When it comes to zombie series, one of the strongest titles Netflix still holds onto is definitely All of Us Are Dead, and the fact that production for Season 2 has officially started has brought the show back into serious conversation. This time, the story is expanding beyond the school setting and moving into Seoul, which clearly shows that the scale of the series is getting bigger. On top of that, the addition of new cast members alongside returning characters suggests that Season 2 won't just repeat the same formula. There's still no confirmed release date, but it's already a strong candidate for late 2026 or sometime in 2027. And for fans of Korean dramas and zombie stories, this season is already looking very promising. So yeah, that was the general lineup of the major Netflix shows expected to stand out in 2026 and 2027. The titles that personally stood out the most to me were Avatar, One Piece, Wednesday, and The Gentleman. But I'm genuinely curious which show you're looking forward to the most. Which one on this list do you think will become the biggest hit? Which one do you think could end up below expectations? And if it were up to you, which other show would you add to this list? Make sure to write your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel, because like I said, your support really makes a difference right now. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you in the next video.